Hello, and welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Um, Hopefully, after this week, I won't have to wear a retainer anymore, and I may have some fake teeth in my mouth. Crazy enough, they're about to take some teeth out, so I have to wear a retainer right now,
Ugh.
and I sound like I got a big old tongue. But welcome, and I have invited Miss Amma, Big Mama Amma, on on the program. She's doing a drive-by on us.
Hello,
Um,
hello.
right. I was last here last Friday, and then I was like, if Monty don't message me, I won't message him. It's a holiday, and neither of us message each other. So I'm like, oh, he must be feeling the same way. So okay, vacation then. So so I'm back here today, and it actually has given me a week to kind of get myself together. And probably a little bit later on, a couple more minutes, I'm gonna play a video clip from a gentleman who has some not so nice words to say about me. And people who
See, now
don't
who would
like
have
me.
anything not nice to say about you? I don't believe it. I
Right.
don't
I
believe
haven't
it.
gone off on anybody like
You
in
are so
6 months.
good. Right. Just
I haven't. I've
zen.
been really good. Been by myself. You see, I'm sitting here, white walls, artwork. No, I'm trying to get this light thing together. It's not. It's not working. I
Mm.
need something else to sit them on so I can bring them up higher. But how have you been, Miss Amma?
I'm hanging in there, Nate. It's been kind of a long year for everybody.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking forward to the
homeschooling.
26th so I can go ahead and vote and get that done. Amen, amen,
Oh,
hallelujah.
that's you voted early. Okay, okay. I'm kind of torn because I still have my ballot and I'm trying to decide, do I mail it in or do I go to early vote? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
You haven't
I'm not. I
decided.
do not trust myself to mail it in. My responsibility level has been real
Hmm.
weak lately. And dealing with being a person. So
Well,
I was
I'm
like,
gonna
you know what?
decide.
No, I'm gonna just go to early voting. I'm not gonna ask nobody for a ballot because it's gonna sit on a
Right,
dresser in my house for 2 weeks.
it's been sitting here since last Friday when I first got it. But I only go to deliver my jewelry to the post office once a week. So I
Mm,
said on Saturday. So I'm gonna decide by tomorrow if I'm gonna, because I just gotta walk to the. I'm gonna go to the registrar's office, the voter registration office, and put it
okay,
in a box. I'm not playing with
there
these
you go.
people out here,
At all.
out here putting out fake boxes for people to put them in,
What
all
is
types of
that?
stuff. Trump, Trump, racism, and I'm
Racism.
let me just like I've never been a hotep brother, but
Hmm.
I know my history and I respect my history and I stand up for my history and my people. But
Hmm.
I've never led with anger. But I'm gonna just tell you, I just binge watch Lovecraft Country in one day,
Hmm.
and I'm quite angry. Um, I'm very angry. Um,
You have to
and
break it down because I haven't had a chance. I haven't been able to watch it. I keep trying to figure out how I'm gonna make it happen.
well, it really like if you have like I'm not gonna say like a lazy day, but a day where you're just around the house, just put it on. It's going to get you.
Hmm.
I'm actually kind of doing my study because myself and Mr. George Bunton will be doing a separate kind of like a Facebook live every week, kind of doing our Cisco and Ebert thing for
Hmm.
some movies because I'm really not a TV watcher. So throughout this pandemic, y'all be talking about stuff, and I'll be like, oh, okay,
What's happening? Okay. Oh.
interesting. So I've had more time doing this to kind of watch stuff. So I've been watching a lot of old stuff and a lot of YouTube, a lot of HBO streaming site. And I like
Hmm.
when you can watch stuff on your time. I don't like, okay, let me go watch this. Let me go watch it because we don't have time like that, and I
Right.
really don't like making time. Even we got all this time now, but yeah, I've been doing good. I've been wondering how you been because I know you're doing a homeschooling thing.
Yes, Jesus. You've met my
Mm,
son. He is the
I
most
have.
serious 6-year-old in the world.
Right.
Um, and Ezekiel is kind of funny because he he's the kind of person who doesn't want you to know he's having a good time. Or he kind of tries to hide he doesn't want you to know just how much fun this is. I don't know where that comes
I
from.
wonder where he gets that from. Interesting.
I don't know where that comes from, but
Too cool
he
for school, huh?
he's shown quite a bit of improvement. Math is his thing. He loves it. He gets it quick.
Mm.
And this is first grade, so he's writing sentences, sounding out words and writing sentences. So there's a lot of yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, he's a talker. So when he comes up with sentences, he's like, I'm like, Boop, that's a lot. Let's think it down some. Because I don't want, because his
Mm.
head get tired. But then that was the beginning. So but when we started in the year, I was like that. So now I'm kind of encouraging him to write out the full sentence you came up with. Go ahead and let yourself be heard. It may be a little more work, but it's worth it.
Right.
So
So he's not doing the live. He's not doing live classrooms.
yeah, he is.
Okay. Okay.
That's the part that he really, really likes, because Ezekiel is
Okay.
very social. So he gets the chance to talk to the other kids and see the other kids, and so that is the part that he enjoys. I love his teacher; she's amazing, and the school is great too. They've made everything really comprehensive. At least for the first graders, it's really easy to flow through the week and get things done with him.
He's a first grader.
Yeah, yeah.
I have first graders, and I'm a pray for you because he's probably been a first grader for a couple years now,
Pretty
but
much.
he's actually now a first grader. So thankfully, he's not in a room with them because he would probably bring home a lot that you're not ready for.
Okay.
First graders, I liken first graders to middle schoolers. Yeah, first graders are because they've been trying to put together sentences all this time, and now they're at an age where they can do that. But they're still young, but they feel like they're the oldest in the school.
Yes.
Oh,
Ezekiel likes to put us on punishment from watching TV. Mommy, you've been playing the game all day. It's time for you to put the game down.
Oh,
sir, you're the child. I'm the mom. I'm the adult mom in charge. All of those authority things. That's me.
He has surpassed the grasshopper. Okay.
He's really trying.
You had to expect it because you and first of all, Kenyon is 80 some years old. And you were coming in at a good 50. I'll give you 50. But so what did you think your son was gonna be? But the old man,
I don't even know. He really does talk. He talks to us like he's our peer, and it's like, okay, well, first of all, I need you to choose some different words. The syntax is coming at me really.
Because I am your mother. I just want to let you know that.
But it's a blessing. He's a very astute individual, and he takes in a lot. So that's a lot of fun.
That's a good political mom way of saying it. That's a good.
Takes in a lot. Sponge. He don't miss too much that one. And I always tell everybody that Ezekiel's been here before, and Ezra's the opposite. This is his first time, and he is.
See, I haven't been around Ezra as much, but I can only assume. First of all, I watched your channel, Ezra Eats.
Yes.
And it's very comical. He needs his own TikTok because I have a little cousin like him, and we also call him Mikey. because he eats like I would eat. He's a grown
right,
man.
like a grown man. What? First thing,
Again, I see his hands. Even in a picture, I can tell his hands are
hands
so
is
big.
just he the other day came in. I was just on Facebook, whatever. And he was like, "Mommy, I'm just hungry." I said, "You're hungry? All right, let me get up." He said, "Oh yeah, let's go get some food."
You need like a hidden camera in there.
I really do.
All of this.
I can never catch it. The only thing I've ever been able to catch is him doing the Cookie Monster, and it took like he perched for a while and was just doing it over and over. I said, if I don't get it ever, I ain't gonna get it now. I better hurry up.
I think it was one video you had where he was eating a donut, and I was like, this little boy is taking chunks.
Serious?
I think he had like 5 bites and it was gone. Sorry, I need you to all the way. Just slow down.
Serious about that thing. He said,
will he be pre-K next year?
Let's see. No, he turns 3 this year. So at the end of next year, because he turns 3
at the end of the school year. Yeah.
Sunday is his birthday.
Oh, chicken ice cream. He's a meat and potato young man.
Yes, he is. Yes, indeed.
He didn't take for afterwards. But I've been worried about a lot of my parenting friends. I talk to Nelia often and Tracy, and it's crazy because I feel bad for you all, but I'm getting it on the other side as well, like being there with them throughout the day. But I think I picked right last year by working with the younger children. Because I would rather work with them than with the older children right now, because the way my language is set up, I'm a cuss, and I actually sitting on because I started a little bit late this year, so I sit in on a friend's live just to see how it goes. And she has 10th and 11th graders, and when I say that ain't my ministry.
And it's hard.
You gotta talk like this.
Unless they really want to be there. That's tough. That's tough. I mean, listen, I've sat in on Ezekiel's class and watched some of these kids just be in their room by themselves, and they just playing. They're like, there's no engagement whatsoever, and mom and dad.
Well, first of all you see is the ceiling. Most of them, all you see is the ceiling.
Right.
And then you may hear them move around because that's them saying, I don't want to be on camera.
At all.
Because they all too cool. Like, how you too cool to sit on the camera? Put some clothes on, wash your face, and maybe you'll feel comfortable getting on the camera. So I've had some, I can't talk about some of the stuff that has happened, but just know I've had some things happen on this with these children.
Sure.
And it's not,
I have to be very careful with Ezekiel. I said, listen, you need to be careful where you point that camera because it ain't everybody's business what's going on in my house. I don't want to listen. They don't need to know what we got. They don't need to know what are you showing for show and tell? What is that? Okay, something you can hold in your hand. Okay, no, you don't need to be.
I wish there were more parents like you, because I got parents that are smoking cigarettes in the bag, on their phone, tripping at the kitchen table while their child is right there. Like, it just. Your child, I know this is your home.
Yeah, again, right. You have to engage. So this is one of the things that I really like about the school where he goes, is that it's a charter school, so most of the parents are actively engaged. And the teachers are excellent. They've done a really good job of preparing us and everything. But there's always those people who are just getting by. It's like, okay, well, I told Ezekiel, I said, this is going to be a very critical time. So because these are the years where people are building their learning blocks. They're right. And a lot of these children don't have the structure that school provides to help really foster that. So you don't know it now, but you in 10 years, when your classmates are behind you, you're going to be glad that your dad and I put in this work and that we had you do this. I said, because it's going to come easier to you, and you're going to watch some of your classmates struggle. And know that right now you want to be mad and you want to finish it, but in 10 years you're going to be like, okay, mommy, you were right, because it's tough out there.
It's mean on these streets. But I think, let me take this off because this is not happening. I was trying to be real savvy with you with the whole Bluetooth joint, but it's not working. Hear me now? You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I tried. It didn't. First of all,
wasn't working.
One was slipping out, and then I kept hearing myself, and that was driving me crazy.
The echo you saw always drive me bananas.
Right.
I couldn't. I was like, I can't do this. It's driving me
It's the after echo, like you already said it, and then you hear it. That's the part that I can't take. But yeah, this has been pretty interesting for me. One, this is my dream life. To work and order out and just go to Amazon and grub. Like, this is my dream life.
Right.
All I need now is a stable-minded partner relationship. That's all. I think that's all that's missing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really missing it.
Right, because ain't nobody bothering you for real.
But it's causing me to have, like, in the beginning, my eyeballs would be dry from not going to sleep.
Oh no.
And I was like, my sleep schedule was all off. And the only thing that anchored me was because in the beginning, we didn't have the classroom at the beginning of this.
Right.
So it was just a radio show on Monday and Friday. That was the only thing that's been consistent. But this is, I'm going crazy because I'm not a customer service person. So the fact that customer service is way off now, and everything is like, leave us a message and we'll get back to you. I'm going off. My dentist just, I've been going to the same dentist for probably like my whole adult life. And I think she just heard me say, get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? I think I was being really nice. My primary doctor has heard me talk like that before. Because I don't like waiting and I don't like craziness.
Right.
And I just went off in the lobby a couple weeks ago. And she was like, are you okay? No,
I'm not.
No,
I'm not okay. Obviously.
I'm used to having teeth issues. So this is driving me crazy. And you telling me I gotta wait? No, I don't like taking pain medicine. So get this shit together.
Right.
So I go back in on next Wednesday. So I'm gonna see if they let me in the building.
Teeth.
I was right loud.
I got 2 root canals that have happened in my mouth. Those.
Oh, do they hurt?
I mean, before they do the procedure, yeah, like riveting pain that wakes you up out of your sleep.
So none of my wisdom teeth are impacted. Okay. And I forgot what they call it when it has actually cut through the gums. Is all of my wisdom teeth have cut through the gums normally, and they're not, most people wisdom teeth growing sideways.
Right.
Mine are sticking straight up, and that's the problem because I can't close my mouth all the way. And it's forcing my teeth to shift.
Okay. Wisdom teeth are always such a problem. I can't understand why we didn't evolve them out. We don't really need them.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, like some other things, it's my fault because they was growing in, and every now and again when they would go through a growth spurt, I would feel it. You know how you bite your gums? I was starting to feel it.
Yeah.
But once they stop growing, I'll be fine. And then it'll happen again, and then it'll go away. I was like, oh, I'm fine. And it's just been during this time. I was supposed to go in March. Actually, my last day of work in March was the 12th. And I was supposed to go that Monday, and everything was closed. And I was like, mother. And then I had to wait all this time to get another appointment. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I watched my mouth go through a metamorphosis.
Right. So, the chain, right. Because your teeth literally shift. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
And when they move, then you feel it. And it's I've been popping. Aline is my friend, and I need to hurry up and get it done because I may become a crackhead real soon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hate the whole pain
Oh
medicine
my God, I
thing.
almost fell out the chair. But so today I wanted to start off. I didn't want to make the whole show about this because I had some hot topic issues. But Marnie, if you could play that video, I would greatly appreciate you. Marnie, are you eating? Playing with your
Facebook,
cat?
YouTube, and Twitter. Racism don't work without black cooperation. This is black cooperation. I'm an artist. I'm an independent filmmaker. I'm an artist in Baltimore. And you got 30 posts that won't meet my approval, that don't meet your approval. Like I say, the artist exchange. Racism doesn't work without black cooperation. You feel me? And I applied to be on here. I'm going to show you the 30 posts that y'all banned. All right. That's one. That was 8 hours ago. Governor Larry Hogan, Brian Frost. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. This is about black racism. Racism don't work without black cooperation. And y'all banning my posts, and I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I'm an independent filmmaker and an activist. You feel me?
So we can cut it at
Y'all
that
banning
point.
my posts because I'm educating you. You feel me?
The toilet. So I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna get to that, but I'm gonna start by saying the Artist Exchange. There's a group called the Artist Exchange on Facebook. That's how I started all of this. That's how I started being an engineer. Me center. Okay. That's how I started. Just being an entrepreneur artist. That's how I started everything. Back at Coppin when I was probably like 22, 23, when it was called Black Arts Collective, all that. It gone through some metamorphosis. Thanks to my friend Issa, he gave me the great opportunity. It was like, you need to make it more global. Like, you don't want to be just Baltimore. You want to be. So that's where the Artist Exchange came from. And I started this group really to keep my Coppinites together. And then we began to branch off and meet Morganites like Miss Alma and other friends like Kyle would go over to Morgan and introduce them to me. And so that's how the group began to grow and I began to do different things. And uh, I've been a teaching artist for a number of years, actually around the same time I started doing that. So because I have nieces who are on social media and because I teach and that group was the only thing that I would allow my students to find me doing. So I wouldn't let them on my personal page, but I would let them join that group because they're artists. So I have to be really mindful of the content and the material and the individuals that I let in that group. And I don't like grading art, whether it's good or bad, but it has an inappropriate scale for me, whether it's appropriate to inappropriate. And I really grade that in that level because there's certain rap artists that I don't let post their music in a group. I have rarely banned anybody, maybe a couple ex co-hosts, but that's it. Not you, Alma. You still in. I had to ban a couple people because they were making it hard for me. And
Right.
I've put a lot of me into this. And me and Alma talk a lot about this, the struggles of trying to balance art with real life and bills and BGE. And I put too much of me into other people to let somebody just post whatever they want. This
Right.
gentleman, um, and his name is not even worthy of me speaking in this moment because I had issues with him prior to him even trying to post in the group
Mm.
and him being very disrespectful and not knowing it would get back to me. I think a lot of people just don't know how many people I know who really support me. I know a lot of people don't say it out loud, but I know a lot of people support me. outside of this radio thing. So it always got back to me things that he had said, but I still tried to reach out to him, still tried to welcome him on like I welcome everybody else on, and give him an opportunity to talk about his work. If you've ever seen his work, he puts these toilet seats around the city with various people pictures and information inside of it, and it's his somewhat of an installation artwork, but it's his political outreach as well. And I'm all for it, do your thing, but a lot of the messaging and his attention behind it was very negative. So I appreciate somebody who's willing to stand up for their community, but I'm not willing to be disrespected while you're trying to support me or help me. I'm not going to let you slap me in my face and then I'm just going to roll out the red carpet for you. That's where I cut it off. So after a few times of me welcome him onto not only to my show, but just Be Exposed in general, because everybody doesn't, that everybody doesn't want to be an artist. So I welcomed him onto other people's shows and he would flake out. So after him flaking on me a couple times in other shows, I cut it off. So I stopped welcoming him on, and we don't know each other. I've only met this man 3 times in person, and we have a mutual friend in common who kept trying to get me to introduce myself to him and get us to connected because he wanted him to kind of streamline his message. But he's an older guy and he has had some issues. He has a company, Bootleg Barbecue, something like that. And I've tried. I tried more than I needed to have tried. And it wasn't because of those situations that I did not let him into, let him post in the group. But I did not approve his post because at one time you could post whatever you wanted as an artist in the group, and people would post inappropriate stuff that had nothing to do with being an artist or community or anything. And I actually started a separate group for entrepreneurs, so he could have posted some of that stuff in that group. And I get a lot of people who have radio shows who try to post their shows in it. And if I see an art-based communication, then I'll let it in the group. If it's appropriate beyond that, I'll let it in the group. But beyond that, I don't, because again, it's stuff that I don't want my nieces to listen to. It's stuff that I can't allow my students to listen to, because then that's gonna get me on the back end, and I'm not doing that game, playing that game with you all. But it's my group, but I welcome it to everybody. It's really not even my group; it's the community group. And for a number of years, I had a lovely young lady supporting me and really going, and she was the person that was approving, and she would send a lot of his stuff to me before she would not approve it. And he was never banned from the group. It was just that some of the work that he would talk about, I would not post. It was a lot of stuff that he did put in the group that I approved of. So it was just those things. I didn't understand it. He wouldn't explain it to me. He was really combative with his messaging, and that's not what I'm about. It had nothing to do with me putting it down or banning another Black man. But fast forward to Friday, actually a friend of mine sent it to me, and he's helping me kind of streamline my YouTube page, and he was trying to find everything out there that my name was attached to or I was in. And this came across, and he said, "Do you know such and such?" And I was like, "No." And he sent me the link, and I'm watching it. And first of all, if you watch it, he is likening me to Governor Hogan, first of all. And I'm one of the problems in the Black community, putting other Black men down. And it was really distasteful. And I really was, if I would have talked, if I'd have did my show on Monday, this would have been a real ranting session, because I would have went off on him. I would have shared this to him. I would have shared it to everybody. And it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. And I'm speaking to my friends at this moment, trying to, get us to be more level-headed and not be so aggressive and so, sporadic on social media, impulsive. And I'm the one who would jump out there and do it. And I was like, no, but I was pissed. Only because I know the amount of work that I put into helping other people out. And I know I would be much further in my own art career had I not tried to help as many people as I've tried to help, who then slapped me back in my face. And this is not me being angry or bitter or upset. It had nothing to do with that. But I don't like people playing with my name. and you put my picture up there. I mean, it was a YouTube video of me. Like, what? And this man, he can talk to me. Hi, sir.
Say hi, Uncle Nate.
So I had to go through that little rant, Alma. So sorry. But
No, you gotta.
This weekend.
No, it seems like he had plenty of opportunity, and I know you well enough to know that you gave. I'm surprised that you went 2 or 3 times. Honestly, usually it's no, I don't have no more room for that after like a chance and a half.
And I don't.
Right. So I'm surprised that you gave him that many opportunities to come on and speak. But I mean, that only makes sense when you have a product that belongs to you and you are trying to make it available for the community, then you have to be careful what you allow out, what is allowed to be seen, what is allowed to be understood as part of your brand or something you're open to or something you support. And I mean, it doesn't, if I say, listen, hey, this is okay, but this isn't, then that's what it is. Hey, here's another place where you can put that. I don't have any issues with you doing that. Oh, okay. Why is it that because I won't let you do it here, now I'm the devil? That doesn't.
I didn't see him posting it anywhere else. So I'm like, who else is letting you do this? Nobody.
Right.
So why would you think I should be the one that brunts that? And I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable in terms of what they can post in a group. And I'm not trying to pander to white people, but I have white allies who have been much more supportive than he has ever been. This man couldn't even tell you my real name. He didn't even write the name of the show correct on the post. Like, I know I'm not the easiest person to, I wouldn't even say get along with. I would just say to work with. I know I'm not. I'm not difficult, but I know what I like, and I just don't want to be a part of something that I don't feel comfortable with. It normally has nothing. I can work with somebody that I absolutely hate. I can still support you. You could have burnt down my home, and I'm still gonna find a way to work. That's just the child my mother raised and grandmother and great grandmother raised. But I'm not like, it's only but so much of that I can put up with, because my invisible game is strong. And once you are invisible to me, you are invisible.
Right.
This just made him invisible. So if I see you on the street, I'm gonna walk through you because I don't see you. I don't even like being angry like that, because in this moment, where can I go to be angry? What can I do but walk around this apartment?
It's so frustrating.
It is.
When you are helpful, when you are a teacher, a healer, what are those things that require constant contact with the public and constant giving of yourself? There is almost always a faction of individuals you come across who don't appreciate the amount of work that it takes, and then they want to take an advantage. Oh, well, you did this for so and so, yeah, but there's a different history with so and so than there is with you. I'm not doing this.
And it goes without saying, like, and you've seen me, I'll give somebody my last if I know you need something and I got it. And I've been blessed. Like, Alma's been one of them people where if I didn't have it to eat, Alma would help me and feed me. So because I've gotten blessings like that, you know, I'm always a person. I've been working on my credit, and I finally got it to a respectable level. So I'm thinking about, you know, venturing out there and kind of attacking my fear of driving and getting a car. But you know, the person that I'm going to be, I'm going to see somebody a mile away who needs a ride, and I have to give them a ride because that has been my most consistent blessing in my life. But it does something to me when I'm the one that you have to do something. I'm the person, every time I talk to Alma, what is it that you need? You know, but I'm like that with everybody, especially the people I'm close to. But anybody that I'm sitting down that I'm trying to figure out how I can help you, I'm always asking, no, what is it that you want? Not what you need for such and such and such, but what do you need for you? And I try to figure out a way to, help and support people in that way. But I've always been burnt in ways like that. But I've tried to be bigger. But a situation like this, and he did it back in March. I'm like, what the hell? You could have messaged me all this time and been like, nigga, why can't I get in a group? Or I would have explained it to you. Like,
because I'm not unreasonable.
like to this day, he can still post in a group. I'ma still approve it or not, but I never banned him. It's only certain people, like I said, that I've ever banned from it. But I'm working on like getting over stuff like that. How are you dealing with self-care in the midst of this? Because this has been
very tough. Nate, 2019 was a fairly good year. I did a couple of performances in community theater that got paid for, that got really good recognition. I had a really, really decent job. It didn't last to the end of the year, but it was a good job that lasted a while. And then 2020 came and everything ground to a halt, and it was just like, okay, so this real good feeling I was feeling just fell flat. So, I have been trying to stay encouraged. I spent some time. Well, the reality is I kind of just checked out. I pulled out of a lot of things. I communicated very little with only a handful of people. I just needed some time to kind of spend some time thinking and figuring out what it was I wanted to do next. I did really enjoy the people that I got a chance to work with last year, so I tried to keep in touch with them. Just try to stay encouraged. I've been reading with my kids, reading on my own. I haven't read in a while, so it was good to read. We're movie and TV people, so we spent a good bit of time doing that. We spent a lot. I've spent a lot of time with my kids. That's just what I did this year. And it's been good for me.
It was definitely a thrive or just survive type of year. And I found myself kind of leaning on both of those sides, and sometimes in the middle, and sometimes outside of both of them. And it really it has made a difference. But so a lot of my friends like you who have children, I was worried because in a moment like this, you had to kind of, in many ways, amp up your parenting. Mm-hmm. I was really concerned that a lot of you all weren't getting a level of kind of self-care.
Well, I'm blessed because I have Kenyon. So, we trade off. If it's 6:00 and I just can't do anymore, I can come to the room and shut the door and he'll pick up the reins. So, there's blessing in having help. And I do not take that bit for granted one second, so I was
feeling overwhelmed, and I'm in here listening to the ghosts. Sidebar, this is the haunted room. I don't ever be in this room.
Okay.
I'm only doing this because of the stuff.
Right, because we're here
in there with the brick wall. I came in here. But I was getting overwhelmed, and it's just me. So I can only imagine what it has taken to not like, you know what? I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. Like, one of those moments. And just figuring out what are some of the things that you've done for yourself self-care stuff? You don't have to tell us, this is the legal stuff that you can learn about.
I actually I have tried to spend a lot of time with my mom. Okay. She went through some big changes this year. And it was just good to spend time with her and kind of develop our relationship. That's been something that has been kind of tricky for a while. But and like I said, I've been reading, been doing a lot of reading, and that's it really. And you know what? I have been baking again, which is something I hadn't done since Ezekiel was born, actually. I was actually thinking I might decide and go ahead and whip up a few batches of cookies for the holidays and see if I can sell some. See how that goes.
Okay. Well, just let me know, and I'll just, come in and get a couple cookies.
I got you.
Well, I'm vegan now, so when you're starting to try out something, well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say.
We're like an 85%, and like a 75, 85%.
I had already started taking certain things out of my diet, like no canned goods. I don't buy milk or sugar anymore. I don't. My biggest problem was just eating out because I don't have to go to the market to buy those things. So I'm just go. But there have been moments like this weekend. Oh, that gentleman better be thankful that a Creole Soul restaurant existed because I demolished grits over the weekend, and I'm not even a big grits eater, but I just felt the need for some carbs, and I needed something that was just going to like slow me down and lay me down. And it rained this weekend, so it was like, Nate, this is perfect. I binge watched what's the name? Lovecraft Country, and
I really want to see this. That's all up my alleys. Afro sci-fi.
Have you seen any of it?
No, I haven't. I have not been able to. So what happened was
let me tell you,
Game of Thrones. We had it for months.
It angered me because this level of creativity is within us. And many of us tell ourselves that we aren't good enough and we prevent ourselves from showing it. And on the other side, we have been prevented from being able to express ourselves so openly. And there's a lot that go on. So if you can sit down one day, take a self-help day for yourself, and just binge watch this back to back. This is some nice comfort food snacks because this is I'm probably going to invite you on when me and George do our show because I don't know if this will be the second or the first episode, but when I tell you, this show is just everything. All the characters get a moment. Sometimes when you got a big cast, a lot of the characters are just like standbys, just extra the transitional characters. Right. But every character gets its moment. And it's a lot of sex that goes on. So beware.
It's not for the kids.
It's not like gratuitous. Well, no, it's not. But there's some love making at least once in an episode. But just be prepared for this. I think you're going to fall in love with this.
It's really right up my alley. Kenyon and I were both like, we really just let go of HBO just now. And literally like 3 days later, Lovecraft Country starts advertising. And we were like, oh no, what did we do?
I think the last episode comes on Sunday. So binge watch it tomorrow or tonight. And then between P Valley and this, I am like, that's why I said over the course of the 6 months, I've been getting real angry at the things that have been happening. So much so that even some of my white friends and colleagues, I told them I can't talk to you right now. And I may have burned some bridges, but what we're seeing in our academic system, what we're seeing in our politics, what's going on in this politics as it pertains to this pandemic, voting, all this is getting to me. And now I'm starting to actually get into watching our TV.
Right.
I'm just mad. I'm mad because we had this in us, Alma. Like, we have this in us.
Nate, I often think about that. Someone posted the other day, what are 3 words you would tell your 18-year-old self? And to this day, what I would tell my 18-year-old self is go to LA, go to Hollywood, just go. because
Try
what
it.
you're afraid of not happening will happen in the time that you are there building your reputation.
I'm telling you, I don't know what you and Kenyon got planned this weekend, but watch it, both of you. And it normally, I think y'all two like a lot of stuff, but he's going to get a lot out of it. It's so much, so many doses of our culture that's in this, and I don't want to give it away, but
I've been
watch it.
kind of light reading some of the comments. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do
that. But it's not, and I did that for a long time, and it's not going to give you, it's not going to give it, it's those comments not giving it to you. I'm telling you. Because I think a lot of people, even like I'm saying it right now, they don't want to ruin it for anybody because it's so much of, and it's, you know what, this speaks to poor Black people. It speaks to Black men. It speaks to people who have never been able to dream, or it speaks to all of those people who chose to say like go into the army versus following their dreams because they just wanted to get out of the hood. Like it is so many doses of our history and our culture, and it's I'm gonna describe it to you. Imagine if Insurrection Holding History was a TV show.
Yes. So some of the things that I'm able to pick up, not having seen the show and just watching the comments and seeing what comes through on my feed, I know a lot of people who watch television, who watch and talk and spend a lot of time talking about good television. Just in general, TV, period. You know, whatever show is trending, everyone is talking about it. One of the things that I've realized is that this might be good television, but it is specifically good Black TV. Because I don't see a lot of my Caucasian or white friends talking about it. They're not even joining any discussion.
And they not, because they watching it. I know they watching it.
Right, they definitely are.
It's so much in this that points a finger, and there's a lot of stereotypical things, that conspiracy theory type of stuff that's in it. But even outside of the acting, the messaging behind this, it is, if it doesn't inspire little Peaches from the hood to get up and start her own business, or if it don't encourage us to get up off our asses and be united,
right?
It does not do anything, because there's some moments that like some questionable things. So tune in on I think it's the 1st of November, the 31st of this month, and you'll see the first episode of, because it's on the first, I just read it, it's on the first episode of Binge Worthy podcast with myself and George Button, and we're going to talk about this, but it's the messaging behind some of this stuff that's in it, and it came out at such a perfect time. But we're seeing the division amongst us and stuff like Ice Cube and the Black community, and it's going to speak to so many of those different things.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's just, and it's faces that you've seen before, but it's not the typical faces that get this type of moment. So just like P-Valley, I'm like, what are they going to do for season 2?
Right.
That's how suspenseful it has been, and it debunks the whole idea of Black people in sci-fi. It really kind of highlights that whole Afro-punk movement. I'm like, you are going to, if you watch one episode, start from 1. Don't watch it off. Start from 1, and you are going to watch it all the way to episode 9. And I think episode 10 comes on this Sunday.
Okay.
And I don't get pumped about TV. This has been the best since Denzel did Fences. This has been the best step for me. We've had a lot of great things in between that, but when you see something great that comes in it,
it looks like it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I'll figure out how to get my hands on some screen time for the
right. They've kind of worked in the whole idea of the Green Book. and it just this is if the African American Cultural Museum, those first 3 levels in the basement, was a TV show. If they made that into a TV show mixed with a little insurrection holding history, that's what you will get with Lovecraft Country. It's just.
I kind of I've heard that the books are equally as entertaining and good. You know, I like to read a good book, so
It's gonna make it that it really made me want to go. Very few things that were first a book or something that's adapted. It's hard for me to kind of get into the other forms of it, with the exception of The Color Purple, because I think I've read and seen all the different forms several times over, but nothing else has ever intrigued me. But it will intrigue you a little bit, like The Color Purple. It will give you that same intrigue. So I think I'm gonna watch this season and maybe get into. Is it a trilogy of books, or is it?
I know that it is a set of books. I don't know that it's a trilogy, but I know that there are several books that are written in Lovecraft Country, I believe is what it is. It's one author who's written several books.
It was good. It was good. And it's something for everybody. Everybody's gonna find something in it. I don't think this is not a baby movie. TV
No.
show. I don't think quite yet. But the sex just comes out of you don't see it coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Game of Thrones was like, oh, so we just start here today. All right, cool.
Like Game of Thrones, I watched another series like Game of Thrones. It was called The Spanish Princess. And it was similar to that. Yeah, it was similar to that, but it didn't really, like, I can get into it, but like Game of Thrones, it'd be too many, like their problem is too many different storylines. And it's hard to really, for me, to like
follow
all that. And because you can't come in the middle of that. You gotta start from the beginning and watch it through. It's
like that. Another one of my favorite shows is like that. Community. Community at all times has 2 to 3 different storylines that are running through several episodes that start at various times. A happened and started in episode 1. Plot B started in episode 2. Plot C started in episode 7. But they're all running, and it's like, okay, you got to remember what happened with this so that you can keep up what happened. It is wild.
It functions in that type of storytelling, but everybody has their thing, but it overlaps in a way that is just seamless. And it really has. I'm shocked. Even after 6 months of binge watching and YouTube surfing and such, I've fallen in love with it. That doesn't happen to me because I'm happy with just a good old podcast that I can get into. But I've been watching everything, and it has helped me in many ways because, in the beginning of this, I was doing those readers theater. And so the guy was talking about in the beginning, I had stopped doing that for that reason. And I'm having issues with, I did not go hard enough and big enough for my things, so other people feel like they can come in and take it. And that happened with the Artist Exchange name. Somebody tried to take it. So I got frustrated. And then somebody wanted me to do they saw the August Wilson tribute and they wanted me to do it. And then they kind of watched them out of order and they wanted me to bring that to their theater company. And that's to say it wasn't a Black theater company. And it was really off-putting and frustrating. But so because of that, I just started, I wanted to write. I'm still stuck on blueprints. I want to write more. I've been talking to LaTanya more, so I'm learning more about the backstory of it and all that. So I want to write more. And I'm working on my own book.
Oh, yay!
So only thing I can say about it now is it's going to feel like a therapy session. So just imagine you being able to be a fly on a wall in a therapy session for me. So it's causing me to be truthful in ways that I've never been able to be truthful, or trusted myself to be, or trusted the people outside of me and me to be that truthful. So it's gonna be some jaw droppers. And I have put myself through, I'm actually physically going through a therapy session as I'm creating this. And I'm still like in the beginnings of it, but it's scary, Mama, because I pride myself on being a private person. And I'm about to tell not all my business, because
enough.
it's not a price I can put on that. But yeah, it's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go to the point of having this printed out, and like I don't know when I'm gonna be able to release.
One of the things that you can help that will help you move, that will help you in staying encouraged, is remember that your testimony there's always something in your testimony to help somebody else. So just let that be your bit of encouragement. Like, okay, God, this is gonna bless somebody. It has to, because I'm stepping way outside of my comfort box. This blessing's got.
I'm gonna need therapy after this is released. Like I'm gonna need therapy for like the first couple months of it, because it really is. It's testing me, and most people who know me personally know I'm not sneaky. I don't trust people. And because I've had some bad situations with giving people information, or people thinking they got something on me, and just that feeling that they get. But it's a lot that goes behind. There's a lot of backstory that goes into that distrust, and this uncovering that was hard enough, because I had really personal relationships that I'm not personal with them, and I wonder why the relationship fizzles off or something happens, and that was enough for us to not be friends anymore, because I've never been able to be honest. And that says a lot about them. It says a lot about me, but it definitely says a lot about the people that I haven't felt that sense of trust.
Right. I don't feel comfortable being this.
Yeah. And it's a hard thing. So that's kind of been me, just trying to stay busy. So I've been myself throughout this, just trying to keep busy, but I've done things surprisingly, like making more time to kind of take in art, because a lot of my professors have said, that was always their argument. Most actors, they are big TV people, big movie people, and I have nothing to pull from. So all that stuff comes from my personal experiences. Right. So I never have I always have to tap into an emotional place. So I have to go to an extreme. Like when we worked together last, I had to separate myself from the cast to feel, different and difficult and all those things. So that methodology of acting. But speaking of acting, you lost your college professor in the midst of this.
I did.
How has that felt?
Oh, for me, it came out of nowhere. I hadn't been very close to Shirley Dr. Dunlap in a long time. And it was, when I was on, a lot of us from my class ended up being on a group chat about it. And it was, even now, it just kind of, it's like, what? No, she was definitely living forever. Like, she absolutely was an immortal. There's no way. And so
Essence is still in that building. I know it is.
It's still, I mean, she could be sitting right here, her presence was always like that though. I am a person who, I recognize when someone takes an opportunity or makes the effort to invest in me, actually invest in me. And there are plenty of people out there who will feel like, well, she ain't shit. Because I was like, you know what? This investment is I see you making an effort. I'm good right now. I can't deal with it. And there are people who are like, yes, any and everything you want to offer me, I'm with it. What you need right now, let me go do it right now. And that's just kind of how I'm built. And so I think I recognized the moments and the opportunities that Dr. Dunlap gave me, and the encouragement that she offered without, being overbearing. She was always, she's not a subtle woman, but she knows how to or she knew
it's too big. It's too big.
She knew how to get her.
Tell me how you really feel. I know that it's hard because I don't think people know. I mean, it probably happens in other departments, but it's something about our theater professors because because we end up working together. So I become not even just your student, but your colleague in many cases and your coworker. And it becomes a working relationship,
right?
And automatic mentorship, even if one of us is being difficult and not taking it.
Right.
We had a health scare with Professor Quartz earlier in this as well, and right after that, once I learned about that, we heard about Professor Dunlap, and it really. I was talking to one of my friends about it, who not part of this arts community, and I kept calling her Professor Quartz or Professor Dunlap, and he was like, "Why do you?" I was like, "Because I really have never had that relationship with my teachers before college. Like I have teachers that I know I was their favorite, but we don't talk like that. But I have Professor Quartz's personal number, her home number, and at years after." And I wondered, I knew how tight knit that Morgan theater family was. And I've gotten to see a lot of you all post in various ways and kind of remembering her as we all were kind of posting pictures that we had with her or something. But I knew you all were taking it the hardest. And because it wasn't I know there was a funeral, but it wasn't a public display as of yet. And I know this has really been hard, losing somebody so close, because we lost Martique as well. So this is, it feels so crazy and out of place, but mourning has been restricted. So you got to figure out a way to kind of get through it and move through it in a way that is
in a way that is not natural to what we've grown used to.
Right. And that feels, because I actually ventured out and I went to Martique's funeral, and I was nervous, one, because there was a pandemic. And it was very short. It was like a Catholic service, but it was very short. But it was heartbreaking to hear about Dunlap, as I know many of you were so close to her in terms of some of your mannerisms and your behavior in terms of being professional artists. She rubbed off a lot on many people. So I knew I was going to ask you that today, and just figuring out, are there plans to kind of memorialize her, or?
Well, they did at her church. There was a viewing and a service. I would say 4 to 5 days after we all found out. Those of us who could showed up. They had an after party at her house afterwards that I didn't go to, but I did make the effort to go to the church and do the viewing and to give my respects to her children and and her sister. Dr. Dunlap was as a force to be reckoned with.
But she knew what she was doing. Like, it's many times you come across people like that don't know, and they have to be all of that in order to. But she demanded this, and she was this, and you wasn't going to say anything else and accept all of that.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Very much so. The respect was to be given. The respect was earned.
So I definitely it has still been very, like, I'm a person, like, I normally don't take obituaries home with me. Like my great grandmother, dad, I don't have any of that obituary because I don't like the way that feels.
Mm,
I don't want that to be the last thing that I remember of you.
right.
But I I have Martiques in my bedroom, and I like look at it periodically throughout the day, and it is. I had just spoken with him literally a few days before, so it was, and I don't feel anything like I left something unsaid, because if you know Martique, he speaks his mind and he's very affectionate with the people he's close to. But it just this time has really been a moment of a lot of reflection for me, even though I'm doing projects that are forcing me to reflect. But just in general, I've had a lot of time with me.
Mm,
That could be difficult and dangerous all at the same time. But
yeah.
it's been hard. It's been very hard. And I know because you have your children and your husband, it's been probably difficult to find that moment, but it is so loud. When you do, it's gonna feel so loud. And you're internal anyway.
I am.
It's really gonna like force you to thrive. Your creative juices are gonna kind of surface in that moment. And I'm saying I'm gonna act on them because uh, it was a moment. We've talked about this several times where we was just thinking like, let me just go get a regular. Popeyes is right down the street. I've been a manager there. I know the routine. I know it hasn't changed. I can get back into it and run the reports. I can do it. And
Right.
it's been many a times that I've thought about walking down the street and just giving all of this up, because it affects you in a way that is um, hurtful, because you looking back at all your mistakes and your hesitations. Are you ready to kind of give yourself that time throughout all this to kind of mentally recharge and creatively recharge?
Yeah. I've been trying to find some, I spent some time rereading some of the stuff I was writing a few years ago, and seeing if there's anything in it that sparks something in me. In all honesty, the thing that's really been on my heart is to record reading the books to the kids. That's what I do. I spend a lot of
Oh,
time
wow.
with the kids, and you know me, I get all into it. Everybody got their own voice and cadence, and we all, it's a whole
It just naturally comes to you too.
it's a whole show. So and it's wonderful. There a set of books that a character that I like, that Ezekiel like, called Geronimo Stilton, and so we read a lot of those books, and it all takes place in New York City, so everybody's got a little different accent. So it that has been good for me. And I told myself, well, starting somewhere, let's start there. So
Yeah.
it's slow going. I've been telling myself I'm gonna do this for months now, and I haven't. And I know there's a lot of hesitation in me. There's a lot of
Fear is a factor.
mm,
Fear is a factor. But somebody asked me to do something. It was like a Zoom thing, and everybody had to perform something. And I had picked a monologue, and I did the monologue, and I found myself getting into it. And I was like, in the midst of doing it, it was something I had did a long time ago, but I was doing it, and I was like, I really love doing this. And then the last thing right before this started was Pearly. And
mm,
Troy forced me out of my comfort zone in ways that I was not comfortable with. Like singing on stage comfortable. And it was crazy because Marnie and Nicole, like months before, they had got a hold of the script and they were in the studio and they were doing it. And they was like, come on, Nate. And I could not do it because I did not feel comfortable doing it in front of people anymore.
Right.
And I was laughing it off, but watching them enjoy it, it really like made me realize how uncomfortable I felt being on stage, like or performing, because I let so many people tell me who I wasn't and who I should settle for. And it really, like, even over the weekend, if you look at my page, I started posting old like announcements or old critics, or critiques of shows, and it wasn't so much me like showing you what I've done, but I had to believe that I could do this again. And it was really, I'm in this space where I just feel stuck and uncomfortable. And I don't know why that just seems to be a word, especially as a performer. Everything else, I can fake it. I can fake it and I can turn it on. But this acting and being in front of people, it just makes me feel less than. And not even in comparison with other people, but just I hear that, I hear Dunlap telling me my butt is too big. I hear, a meanie telling me my voice isn't deep enough, or I don't look masculine enough, or I'm not tall enough, or, and I look around and I see people who aren't stereotypically gorgeous being able to be like, who I love watching? Dominic.
Yes.
I love, and I know he probably is uncomfortable when I'm around him, but I'm not even looking at him in a way like that. But I'm amazed at somebody who can let go. Yeah. And I've always been interested in learning, not necessarily his process. I can see that happening, but what is going on in his mind?
While you're
anything, we were in a
air. There's nothing. What's going on in his life is the scene. He has decided every moment, every second. I love working with Dominic is one of my favorite things. I haven't had the opportunity to do it since we left Morgan.
In the insurrection. He was with him at insurrection.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you didn't have scenes like that.
Right. He and I didn't work. Right. It wasn't me and him, I don't think we had, did we have a scene together? Maybe one.
You were there. Your character was right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I always thoroughly, one of the things about me as an actor is if I am on stage with somebody who goes there, I can go there with you. I pick up on energy. I can jump in with you. And so when you're working with someone like Dominic, who is a complete submersive, it's like, oh snap, we playing today,
Yeah. And I've gotten to do a couple things with him actually. And Insurrection was really my favorite because I was feeling real vulnerable. And I made myself feel that way. And I think that was a choice that I made. But in doing it, I don't know how to just be vulnerable and then walk out of it. So it carried itself throughout the whole thing. And he definitely was somebody who there's very few people who I can watch like that. And I watched him work and create and just be like, and it was a lot of it was on my shoulders, but I always was comforted the fact that he was right there.
Right.
And if I ever felt the energy, not even, I wish he had the line sometimes, but I definitely leaned on that. But he's one of the people locally that I could watch like that. And Doug Goldman is another one.
He's in the single carrot show that's happening right now.
In the park. I was thinking about going to see that, but the Rona is still scary to me.
Yes.
So I
really want to though. I like Single Carrot. I like the way that I love the way that they approach theater. They have some big wild ideas and I am all for it. I really enjoy working with them.
I just want to create again. I I wanna be an actor again. And I think this last show with Pearlie allowed me to just be an actor. I didn't have to touch anything. And I'm a little bougie when I'm on stage, but I love because I've never got that chance. I always got the role, and I got it because somebody else fell out, or if you do this for me, then you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things, even if it was unspoken. But just finding that nerve and storytelling is so a part of why I like acting, because I like telling the story. I can be funny, but I don't enjoy being funny at all. I just, because I think it's so stereotypical. And somebody like me, I'm the funny old man. And of course, in Pearlie, who was I? The funny old man.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I want to feel that thing. Like when we did Midnight, like stuff like that, where you are forced to be like, I miss it. I miss, being on stage, and I'm glad I got to do it this year. And that was the last thing that I got to do in the regular world. But
I
I
was
want
thinking the
to
other
do
day, I posted on Facebook the other day that sometimes I'm sad that the only thing I'm really good at is mimicry. But then it's more than just that. It is the storytelling. It is giving someone the opportunity to be fully immersed in someone else's perspective and someone else's moment in time and someone else's epiphany. And I ended it by saying, I think it's much more powerful to introduce you to someone than it is to tell you about them. And even as just say, even something just as benign as Mad TV characters. If you run across, if you're walking and this person is in full character of Miss Swan, and you're like, oh my God, it's Miss Swan. You know what I'm saying? Or oh my God, it's Mr. Bean when they're in character. It's like, oh my God, you're here. You're like, you're doing the thing. You're here. You're doing the thing. And there's something so powerful about that. There's something saying I can embody another perspective. I can give you something completely different because the human condition has no limitations.
And that's what I want to get back to. And I kind of dibble dabbled in it all throughout this time. And I have plenty of regrets. And I'm actually, in me, the process of this book coming out is going to help me make amends with people who I felt put me in that box. And then it's also making amends with myself for stepping into the box.
Right.
And staying in the box. And it all that man, it just feels like this moment is purposefully built. And I know so many people who needed this moment, who not taking it, who trying to still get 40 hours in and still do everything but deal with themselves.
Right.
And it's been hard because I've hated myself at moments. I've hated, it was a couple shows where I was like, I hate this apartment. I gotta move. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to be in here no more. But I've loved this haunted house for 8 years now, and it's been mine. But just trying to figure out, what's next. So I immensely am thankful, one, that you did one of the readers theaters, but I did that because I needed something to do. Like I and not just fill up time, but I felt so empty in the first quarter of this. Like I just felt like I ain't got used to being a teaching artist. Like that was my first full year that I wasn't fired and I wasn't asked to come in at the last minute.
Right.
But I had completed a year. Like I had students that still reach out to me, who parents still reach out to me, and a principal who still reaches out and keeps in touch. But it really has, I felt so like, if I don't do something now, I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like for me.
Right.
Like, so it was necessary. But again, when I jump into something, I jump into it. And and I put everything into it, and it became my job. But I got so tired. You know, when I was doing them, I was in my bedroom. I
Right.
was so tired of my room. I was so tired of it. I hated my bed. I hated my sheets. I hated the brick wall, everything. And to be honest with you, I didn't change any of it since then. It was just me. I've never been home this much, Alma. I've never been home this much.
I know it.
So I was really just
It was a
going through it.
because we have the boys, and so they want to go out. They want to go, especially go and see their grandparents. So we had to be especially quarantined. So we, those of our friends who are single and don't, aren't concerned, who can spend 2 weeks away from their parents is whatever. Like I can't. My mom and dad kind of require seeing my kids at least once a week. I had to be very, very careful about who could come and where you've been and what's going on. And there was a part of me that very much was okay with just because there's a part of me that could definitely be a hermit.
Yeah. So we have like whenever me and Alma get together, I feel like so much gets talked about, but then time runs out. And unfortunately, Monty doesn't like me to go over it because he wrote the big rap in the message box. So I'm going to get off of here. Alma, don't go anywhere. But if you're looking for great things to talk about, artist news, what's hot, all that, come to the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Unless me and Monty unspokenly says, no, we're not doing this today. And I've done that quite a few times. But next up is Cocktail Social with Blue Waters and his amazing group of socialites. They're going to dazzle you. And I believe it is what it is.
Oh my God! No, God! No, God, please, no!
But we got sound effects now, baby. Keep those down. So that's been it. Thank you, Alma. Hold on for a second, but thank you, Alma, for coming on. I appreciate it. You gotta come on more. I keep saying that, but I got her once. We've been saying this all throughout the pandemic, and she finally came. And tell that redhead Kenyon he better get his radio voice together.
All right. It was on his mind not